now a Liberal senator for New South Wales. So thanks for joining us again, Dave. Even back when you were ambassador, I remember talking to you. You and your family had to shelter when missiles were incoming from Gaza. So you know that routine, if not the intensity that we're seeing it at the moment. Life in Israel is extremely difficult at the moment.
Yeah, look, seeing those pictures of Sharon and the sirens go off and everyone scrambling to the shelter, brought back many memories for me. I was there when Hamas was firing rockets. I wouldn't want to compare the two situations, though. The ballistic missiles Iran is firing regularly at civilian areas, it should be pointed out. Civilian areas in Israel pose a much greater risk than anything I had to live under, but certainly the scenes are very familiar to me.
Now, this is the point about what's going on here, right? The Americans have come in with this spectacular attack to take out the nuclear facilities, which is the illegal aspect that the whole world is supposed to support. The whole world has been against Iran getting nuclear weapons. But you can't get its stability and peace in the region and still Iran stops firing missiles into Israel. How close might we be to that situation?
Well, look, Iran still clearly has a significant number of ballistic missiles in its arsenal. Israel thinks it's destroyed about 1/3 to 1/2 of the launches, but Iran has several thousand ballistic missiles at the estimate. So it seems they are still able to be doing this. I think that the thing the world is watching most closely, though, is does Iran seek to widen this conflict now following the US strikes? Do they start to attack US personnel or bases in the region? Do they seek to disrupt shipping in the Strait of Hormuz? Do they activate terrorist cells that they've cultivated over many years in third countries and conduct terrorist attacks? And I think we all need to be on guard for what sort of form this retaliation might take.
Yeah. Look, this is the point I was making with Paul Murray last night, though. That sounds an irrational course of conduct because it would backfire on Iran badly. America would get involved and retaliate. But Iran is not a rational actor.
Well, no, and look, you've got to remember there's the Iranian regime and there's the Iranian people, and the interests of the two can often be quite far apart. The regime, the leadership, the IRGC, the supreme leader, they will be looking at what allows them to continue to run and control the country. And if that potentially risks more devastation to their own people, I think they will take that. I mean, they've shown themselves to be a brutal regime in years past in stamping down protests about women's rights and freedoms, in conducting one of the largest numbers of executions anywhere in the world on a yearly basis. So they have no compunctions about punishing their own people if it secures their own grip on power. And that will be the calculation they're going through now. What allows their regime to survive, not what is best for their country.
Now, I've just got to ask you this. The astounding turnaround from Anthony Albanese and Penny Wong. Suddenly they now support the American action. They should have been supporting it last week. They didn't even support it yesterday. They've come to their senses today. Now, as a former diplomat, one who served in Washington, do you think the US has got onto them, either through our embassy their embassy in Australia or in Washington, and demanded that as an ally they actually mouth something that could be described as support?
I think that's very likely, Chris. I mean, I was gobsmacked by the level of amateurishness shown by the government yesterday to not have anyone significant front the media, to put out a bland anodyne statement which said nothing, attributable only to a government spokesperson, when, the Australian public is rightly looking to their elected leadership to say, what do we think about this? What does it mean for Australia? What does it mean for Australians in the region? What does it mean for our safety and security? And the government was absent from the field. It's amateurish, and I can only think that they got a full court press from Washington last night, once Washington came online at about 10 o'clock our time last night, and they said, what on earth are you doing? I mean, what kind of ally are you that you cannot come out and support something as straightforward like this that is in Australia's national interest, not just America's national interest, not Israel's national interest. It's in our national interest. That's why we should be speaking out in support of it.
Thanks for joining us again, Dave. I appreciate it. Senator Dave Sharma. This is my instinct, as I said at the top of the program. America must have gotten on the blower to them. They've been pulled into line, which is a very embarrassing way for a mob to run our foreign policy.